This Auburn team is the Road Warriors.
Johnson goes to deny. Step back. Big play.
It's got you here.
Jones doesn't go. The tip by Broome. Up ahead, Harper.
Hello and welcome to this episode of War Eagle Weekly. How we doing, Josh?
Oh, man, after a crazy weekend, I'm ready for some basketball tonight.
It has been insane. For those that are used to our normal schedule, this video is releasing later in the day on Tuesday, so right before the Oklahoma game, primarily because I have been dealing with some crazy stuff at my house, have had very sick kids. I myself have been sick twice in the last week with different things, and so we're a little bit behind schedule, but we're here. We're going to talk about the previous games as well as the upcoming game. Again, since the Oklahoma game is tonight, we're going to just quickly gloss over it, not going to go too into detail about it, but we are going to talk about it. Before we start, though, we have partnered with Fanatics. Our affiliate link is below, so if you find yourself needing some Auburn gear, use our affiliate link below so that way you can get your Auburn gear and it benefits us just a little bit. So any little bit helps. We're trying to get things rolling. But Josh, this Auburn team goes on the road for 2 games and beats Ole Miss and LSU. LSU being the first game in the previous week. Things looked like it was going to be hot, and then we got very cold, and it seemed like a sloppy game from what we're used to, right?
You're referring to LSU, correct?
LSU, yeah, LSU.
Yeah. That game, boy, Auburn started out missing every shot, and LSU jumped up to a 7-0 lead, and then Auburn gets 7 straight rebounds offensively, one right after the other to get their scoring started. And then Auburn just took off from there. It looked like LSU was going to make it a pretty close one, but Auburn outscored LSU 41-29 in the first half and then finished the game 87-74. So, I mean, I wasn't really worried about the game as it was going on. And maybe you're like, right, oh crap, this is a legit trap game. Once they got up to a 7-0 lead, but once Auburn got it together and started making their shots, it just is a non-factor. The game was what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, so the way that it looked to me was it was one of those games where we weren't doing things great offensively and we weren't doing things great defensively, but we did a lot of things that kept us ahead of LSU, and it never seemed like it was in question. I never was watching that game going, oh my gosh, what's going on? We're going to lose this game, or we're playing so badly, we're going to lose this game, or anything like that. We had a bunch of steals. We had, like you said, we had 7 offensive rebounds to begin the game. And we ended the game with 15 steals and 4 blocks, 3 of which are Johni Broome. But Johni Broome really willed us to that win, finishing with 26 points, 16 rebounds. It's like, welcome back, Johni Broome. Okay?
Yeah, no.
He clearly... Go ahead.
I was going to say, no kidding. He clearly looked better than he did against who do we play before that?
Tennessee.
Yeah, he looked better than he did against Tennessee. Still didn't look 100%, but he looked better, which was important. And it was just welcome back, Johni Broome. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. At times, he looked like the most dominant player on the court. And, I mean, ultimately, again, finished the game. He hasn't been, since he came back from injury, he has not been as proficient offensively. He hasn't been consistent in that sense, but he's still getting his shots. He's still getting his points.
I think we're going to get to the contrary here in a couple seconds.
Yeah. He just, Oh man, he things just don't seem to be exactly the way that he has been happening. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he doesn't have as much lift. He doesn't have as much spring in his step. And so when you are at a level that these athletes are on, and just an inch or just a half an inch of losing your verticality is going to mess off your game. And especially with Johni Broome being so close to the basket, the way he operates, it affects him enough that I think the ball is just hitting just an inch or so away from where it really needs. And
the guy still finished with 26 points. I don't even care. He missed a lot of shots against LSU. He was 10 for 23 on the court, but he still finished with a double-double and had 26 points. He outscored everybody that played in the game. So, I mean, if this is what we get from a Johni Broome that is not 100%, then I don't give a shit.
Yeah, just continues to show.
Keep feeding me what we're getting.
Yeah, continues to show his dominance on the national stage. The fact that he is this injured and still just kicking ass the way he is. Chaney Johnson looked great. I mean, he didn't. Well, okay, sorry. He was great from behind the arc. He finished 2 of 7, so he wasn't super great, but he did execute when we needed. Chad Baker-Mazara continues to hit shots when we needed as well. Again, the LSU game, it was weird because it seemed like there were times where we were dominant and then other times we weren't, but LSU could never get into it and could never, fight their way back into the game too far. 87 points on the road in this league is going to be great no matter what. Then on Saturday, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it was overall, I feel like this was a very, very good win for Auburn as a whole. I think Jaheim Hudson, the minutes that he had in the LSU game were some of the biggest minutes from any reserve player all friggin' season. His stats may not come, shooting off of the board, but with Johni Broome not being 100% and us being short, big guys, Jaheim Hudson came in and did his thing, and he was 100% from the floor, hit a 3, had a couple rebounds, had a couple assists, I think. Yeah, he hit one. He was 1 of 1 for 3, and let me tell you, that shot looked really freaking good. I don't want him to continue to shoot the 3, but the shot that he made looked really good. And I think LSU's offense was Auburn's best defense. They had 15 turnovers in the first friggin' half. Get out.
Yeah, no, unbelievable with the way that we were playing the defense in the first half. And honestly, it really wasn't terrible defense until the second half. We let them score 45 points. We still outscored them, but we did our damage in the first half, and they just could never bounce back. Moving right along, though, we have the game against Ole Miss. And again, like we just talked about, Jaheim Hudson was out there for 6 minutes, but they were 6 impactful minutes on the defense. Did not score a lot. He got 1 bucket, but he has been growing into his position of just being a guy that comes in and gives solid minutes, because defensively he's not great. He doesn't blow you away, but he makes the guy miss a couple of shots, and that's all I need him to do.
He's one of those pieces. He's one of those pieces that you want on your team every single year, because he could be that one piece that doesn't commit a foul on the 3-point line to send Virginia to the national championship. He could be that guy. It's just you never know. I'm not saying that we fouled Ty Jerome, but it is whatever. I'm still salty. But my point is, he could be that one guy that gives you those 5 minutes of game time that sends you to the next game in the tournament.
Yeah. And in that Ole Miss game, man, it was a point to where the first half, Johni Broome was the man. I mean, he had 13 points in the first half, just looked unstoppable. And then in the second half, he went super cold, and everybody else kind of had their moments. They were doing okay. Ole Miss is hanging around. Their Dia guy, Malik Dia, that dude is pretty good. I was very impressed with his offensive game, and defensively, he did a couple things that were not terrible. All in all, he was very good for Ole Miss, but
he did a lot of good things. Auburn scored 9 points.
Yeah. Auburn, but 20 points from Johni Broome, a double-double from Dylan Cardwell, who continues to hit free throws in crunch time, man. In big spots, he continues to hit his free throws. I mean, he was
second career double-double.
4 for 5 at the free throw line.
He's a 29% free throw shooter.
Yeah, just huge. And we needed him, though. We needed him, especially there at the end of the game. But Chad Baker-Mazara had 18 points. Denver Jones was probably consistently the most consistent player throughout the entire game. He hit shot after shot after shot. Consistently the most consistent throughout the entire game, finishing with 16 points, but was 4 of 7 from behind the arc. Finally, Denver Jones, welcome back to the elite shooting performances that we had early in the season.
After Denver's steal in that game and the oop to Pettiford, I could live comfortably off of that high five from Tahad Pettiford and Denver Jones for the rest of my life. Just give me that in the cash value. I'll live off that for the rest of my life. That play was – there's just so much chemistry between this team.
Yeah.
So much chemistry. And, I know I'm probably skipping ahead a bit, but the chemistry, it speaks volumes, because there was a couple times during that game where it showed Auburn's bench. And it showed Jakhi Howard sitting in regular clothes. He wasn't dressed out. He was sitting with his teammates. He wasn't sulking, though. No. He was talking with his team. He was laughing with his team. He wasn't being a big crybaby like the other guy we know of. It was just
from last year. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
What was his
Holloway. So I mean, it's the chemistry on this team. Whether you're playing in the game or you're not. It just speaks volumes. We didn't have this type of chemistry last year because we had some sourpusses. This year, he might be a little sourpussy whenever he gets in trouble, but he bounces back and he makes the attitude adjustments, it seems. And hopefully he can get back on the court here in the coming games.
I agree. He, like you said, he is showing to Bruce that he's a good teammate. I can't remember who it was, but somebody mentioned that this was a conversation that it had. I can't remember where I saw it. Maybe it was Maine Easy that I saw posted a little tidbit of a conversation he had with one of the coaches was, when you're getting your minutes, it's easy to be a good team player, but it's about when you're not playing, not getting your minutes. That really shows when you're being a good player. And Jakhi Howard he's showing now that, like you said, he has a bigger impact on this team than Aiden Holloway did last year, because he is responding to the coaching very well. He obviously wants to be coached hard, and he's a passionate young man. You and I talked about this whenever he got dismissed in the Tennessee game. He's going to clap back, and I hope that he learns from it, and I hope he's better off for it. But he's not giving up. He's not going into a shell like a turtle, unlike Turtle. He is. It was terrible. That was a terrible joke.
So bad, Cameron.
It was so bad.
Gosh.
It was probably the worst one I've ever had.
You're such a dad.
But Jakhi Howard, he obviously is listening to what the coaches is saying, and I'm super happy for him, because if he comes back and he continues this trajectory of being a good teammate when he's not having the best performance and so he gets pulled or not getting the most minutes, I hope he continues to have this, because it's huge, because we need him. We need him in this league, and we need him once tournament time starts. That's SEC tournament as well as the NCAA tournament. Jakhi Howard, they posted – men's basketball, Auburn's men's basketball posted a video on Twitter or X after the game where it was Johni Broome, Tahad Pettiford, Miles Kelly, and I can't remember who else it was. Maybe it was Denver Jones, but they were sitting there dancing to a song.
He comes in the background,
he comes into the back. He's got a jacket on, but he doesn't look like he's forcing it. He looks like he's just having fun, and that's just what you want to see from a young player. He's surrounded by so many seniors on this team that obviously a lot of the stuff that they're telling, as well as the coaches, are rubbing off on him. And the Auburn fan base is going to embrace him if he just bounces back and comes back stronger than what he was.
I think the Auburn fan base has really learned their lesson about backing a player whenever they're doing something poorly. I think we all, not me, but Auburn fans in general, learned their lesson when after Bo Nix left, because that was just a brutal thing that Auburn fans did to Bo Nix. But hopefully they all have learned their lesson and don't run Jakhi Howard out of the building. But
Yeah,
you never know,
because he's immensely talented, and if he sticks around and he doesn't transfer, which in today's college
you never
athletes,
know.
who knows? You really don't. It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's taking the coaching well, but hopefully he doesn't transfer and he becomes a very big part of this team next year, and is a very big part of this team this year, because there are minutes to go, and we need more players that are offensively going to be able to score. He just needs to focus and really reel himself in on defense. And when you're playing for Bruce Pearl, he's going to ask of that. He's going to ask for you to give him 110%.
Push you.
Yep. So, well, Josh, tonight we have a game against Oklahoma, and we are back home after it feels like forever not playing in Neville Arena. Tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time on SEC Network. Oklahoma is not a bad team, but they're one of the worst teams in the SEC, still at 16-5. I mean, honestly, it should be a very dominant game for Johni Broome.
I mean, you would think that it would be. Let's see, because Oklahoma, they're giving up they're giving up 70.5 points, and Auburn is scoring 84.5. So I think I haven't looked what the spread was. I haven't checked, but I would imagine that the spread is definitely a double-digit spread.
Oof. Yeah, 17.5 points.
Okay, I'll take the under on that. I'll take the under on that.
Crazy, yeah. And the total is 153.5. That one's probably closer to it, because
I'll probably take the cover on that one. But the reason I'm taking the under on that 17.5 point spread is because of Oklahoma senior forward Jalen Moore.
That's the thing, is he
53% from the floor.
Is he going to be playing? Because I believe there was a rumor that he or not a rumor, he left the previous game, and I think he was hurt. Let me see if I can find this out. But yeah, no, continue talking about this kid, because he's very talented and 18, like you said, over 18 points a game.
Yeah, 18.2 points a game, shooting 53.6% from the friggin' floor. He's only averaging 6 rebounds a game, but that doesn't matter in my opinion, especially when you're putting up those kinds of points. The dude's very good, but the good news is we also have a good front court of our own in Johni Broome and Dylan Cardwell. So hopefully they're able to nullify him and keep him in check. He's also, as a forward, he's also shooting 80% from the free throw line. So I think that they definitely have some weapons. They could make this a close game. But all in all, you're inside of Neville. You're inside of Neville. No one's winning at friggin' Neville. And I mean,
it's been a while since that's happened in conference. Well,
they have had a pretty good last 4 games. Their last loss was against Texas A&M at Texas A&M. They beat Vanderbilt, number 24 Vanderbilt, by 30, beat Arkansas by 3, and then beat South Carolina by 20. So I mean, Arkansas, South Carolina, they're pretty crappy teams in the SEC this year. But Vanderbilt, they're a pretty good darn team. Didn't Vanderbilt beat Tennessee?
Yes, but then Vandy went and lost this last week to who did they lose to? Let me look it up, because they just lost to somebody.
They lost to Alabama.
Oklahoma. They lost to Oklahoma.
By 30 points.
And Alabama. But they beat Kentucky in between the 2 games.
They did beat Kentucky. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think Oklahoma can make this game interesting. I would say Auburn will probably win by 10, 11 points.
Yeah. the fact that it's in Neville is just it's huge, and it's so
Yeah.
hard to win on the road, and that includes for teams coming into Neville. ESPN has Auburn having a 90% chance of winning this game, so or more than a 90% chance of winning this game, so it should be good for us. Next up, though, we have the game against Florida on Saturday, the 8th at 3 p.m. Central Time on ESPN. Yeah, no, dude, at Florida, that just seems like one of those locations that this Bruce Pearl team cannot win at, or any Bruce Pearl team, should I say, just can't seem to win at Florida. Florida is a very good team. I mean, they embarrassed Tennessee. They continue to be a really good team. They're a top 10 team in this country, 18-3 total record. They've won all but 3 of their in-conference games. Tennessee did get some revenge this last weekend and beat them 64-44, so they came back with a 20-point win, but it was at Tennessee. So, I mean,
Florida voluntarily agreed to get chomped by Tennessee this past weekend. Tennessee won by 20, and whatever. I
we're full of terrible jokes here. That's what you come here for.
Is it though? I don't know, but
I don't know.
This Florida team is very good. This game, this is my Ole Miss loss to you. This is the game I feel Auburn could actually lose inside of Neville. Florida is just one of those teams that freaking has it.
Yeah.
They have it all. Their stats are very comparable to Auburn's up and down the board. They actually pull down more rebounds per game than Auburn does. They get one steal more than Auburn does. But comparably, these two teams are very similar. And Florida, Auburn's just had the toughest time getting consistent victories over Florida over the past couple of years. And I can see Auburn definitely losing this game.
Yeah. And they're one of the few teams that are up there with Auburn.
Reffing.
What was that?
Especially if Pat Adams is reffing.
Oh, yeah. Let's not get started on that. Freaking Pat Adams hates Johni Broome. Johni Broome can't get a freaking call to save his life, it seems like. Not that he hits his free throw shots a majority of the time. It feels like he misses them more often than not, but still. It's a little frustrating. Pat Adams, the referees are just terrible this year.
He's a bum.
I'm just gonna say that's what it is. But Florida is one of those teams that is up there with Auburn on assists per game. They average 15 assists a game. So this is not going to be an easy game. If Auburn doesn't come right and does not come ready to play on Saturday, it could very well get out of hand because Florida is not a team that you can mess around with. And if we have an off night shooting, then I think we're in for a very long day. I think so.
Yep. I think this is a 5-point game.
Right now, the line hasn't come out on this, but ESPN does have Auburn with an 81% chance of winning. Auburn's going to be favored in all these games until they lose multiple games in a row. Then that might be when it starts to fall off. But Auburn is going to continue to win. Auburn's going to continue to get the benefit of the doubt, and I'm done picking against this team. So I say we win. I say we win until we lose. I'm saying we're winning. We did, both of us, predict in the preseason. We both did predict Florida winning this game. So this very well, again, it's not going to be an easy game. This Florida team is, I think,
what's both of our records on the season, Cameron?
I'll take a look here. But Florida again continues to be one of the nation's top teams, and they are just really, really good. Right now,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, at the beginning of the year, I thought Florida was going to be an easy out. I did not realize Walter Clayton had come back to Florida. I thought that he left. Walter Clayton is a freaking baller. The dude knows how to score buckets. He knows how to play the game of basketball. He's very good at the game of basketball. I still think Auburn wins the game, but I think Florida could potentially win it themselves. Like I said, I feel like this is a 5 or less point game for whoever wins.
Yeah. So you predicted up to this point 2 losses on the year, and I predicted 2 losses. Both of us had the Blue Devils. You had us losing to Purdue, and I had us losing to Texas. So far, those are the only 2 losses that we were wrong on. Again,
yeah, you were closer to being right against Texas than I was Purdue.
Yeah, most definitely. That's for sure. That is 100% sure. This team continues to just be amazing, Josh. I cannot say it enough. I am blown away. I listened to a podcast. It is the Wishbone podcast. They've been doing their podcast for since the 2012 season. And they
don't talk about that season, Cameron.
I know, but what I'm saying is they've been doing it for a long time. And one of the things that they continue to talk about is enjoy this, because this is not the norm in Auburn basketball historically. We need to enjoy every win, because this kind of winning does not happen in this country and in college basketball. And it is just phenomenal to see and so fun to watch. This team continues to be fun to watch. Some of the games we're not winning by 20 or 30 like we would like, but we say it week in and week out, and have been since the beginning of the season. Winning on the road is extremely difficult in this league, and this team continues to find ways to win on the road and continue to be the road warriors that they're being. And I cannot say enough good things about this team with or without Johni Broome. And right now, hopefully we continue to see the improvement of Johni's health. And we don't have any more shoulder issues, because he had that issue in the last game as well. I forgot all about
just
that.
No more issues, period. Please.
Right. So anything else you want to add, Josh?
Other than the fact that I think we're very close to 100% Johni Broome, and I can't wait to see 100% Johni Broome in the coming games. But the only other thing I got to say is War Damn Eagle, Cameron.
Yep. Oh, hey, we're not there yet. We'll be there in a second. One last thing before we jump into that. Again, if you're looking for some Auburn gear, use our affiliate link below and go check out fanatics.com and order your Auburn gear through our affiliate link. Help us out a little bit. We're trying to get some revenue going on this so we can try to make this a better experience for all of our viewers. But all in all, like you said, Josh, War Damn Eagle.
War Damn Eagle, man.
Johnson goes to deny. Step back. Big play. It's got you here. Jones doesn't go. The tip by Broome.